Hello, everyone. It is Dave Mate back for another episode of the AI Orchestration Journal. So, last week we spoke about setting up your 7 foundational files. Those foundational files are needed as the baseline for every single AI app that you build. Doesn't matter what it is, it could be a glucose tracker. It could be something to track your calories, your meals, something to contact your employees on Slack automatically while you're sleeping, whatever it may be. This is the age of AI development, AI orchestration, agentic engineering. What does that all mean? That means that we have these tools at our disposal. Claude.ai, Claude Code, ChatGPT, Gemini, what have you, all these LLMs, large language models that help us think. They become second brains for us. They allow us to extend our reach of thinking, extend our reach of technical capabilities. It doesn't matter what you want to build. Now is the time you could build anything that you want to build. We're sitting at the precipice of a new era, a new paradigm. Never before in history has anyone ever had a engineer at their fingertips, a master at marketing, a master at SEO, a master at mathematics, a master at you name it, sitting literally at their fingertips. This is a new era. And this era has just kind of catapulted over the past 6 to 12 months. Literally, over the past 6 to 12 months, we are seeing the doors open up for AI orchestration. Now, just to do a little recap, I don't want to make this video too long like my other previous two. I highly recommend you go to Askarione.com, Askarione.com, and check out the journal. If you want to catch up on those previous videos, sign up for the newsletter. Definitely sign up so you get updated every 2 weeks or whenever we drop something new. And obviously, get your free AI starter kit, which is the 7 foundational files, which is actually going to be a little bit part of this video. They are going to be included in my own personal AI starter kit, which has, I don't know, 40, 50 files at this point. We're actually going to be using that today to build this situation to go over a few things. But let me take a sip of my mate. Salud. Grab some of my water. Okay. So today what I want to speak about, and I'm actually going to do a little screen recording to add some little context and layers to these videos, so it's not just me, you're looking at me all the time. Today I want to talk about something called the third agent, what I call the third agent. Now, the third agent is you. Sometimes we forget that you're an agent too. So the way that I set up my stack, my system to build, it has 3 different domains. 3 different agents. So one agent is Claude.ai, the Claude chat box. I'm constantly using the chat box to direct me, to be my partner when I'm developing my applications. Then I'm using Claude Code, the CLI, Claude Code, the powerful tool that lives on your local machine that allows you to build and to actually develop your application. That's Claude Code. And now most people forget, especially beginners, the third agent is you. You are the third agent. You are the one that's sitting in between Claude.ai and Claude Code. Remember, Claude.ai is the chat. Claude Code is the terminal, the CLI, the container where you build the code from your local machine, that black box. We'll talk about that in a future episode, but most of you already know what the Claude Code is. So here's the problem that I had to learn the hard way, and I'm still learning it the hard way, which is why I had to come up with the third agent protocol, which is I'm going to give you guys for free. At the end of this video, you're going to be able to get that for free. It's on Git right now. Git is the website that holds repositories of information, and that information can be anything. It could be code, it could be HTML files, it could be markdown files, it doesn't matter. In this scenario, it's just an accumulation of a few markdown files that you're going to get and you're going to be able to use. And I'm going to do a little demo for you. So the third agent is you. You have to remember, here's the problem. Let me take a step back. Here's the problem. that we're going to solve today. Remember last 2 weeks ago on episode number 2, I spoke about you need the foundational files. That helps solve the persistent memory conundrum, the persistent memory problem. But we have to remember that the problem still persists because, yes, those foundational files set up the context, set up the environment, set up the guardrails, set up the rules, set up all the infrastructure for your project. But then you have to take that information and go to Claude Code and now build locally on your machine, right? So think about it like this. Just think about it logically. Let's say that you're using Claude.ai, the chat box, to give you information. That's exactly what I do all day long. It gives me information. It helps me build these applications. And then I take that information as the orchestrator and I literally paste it into the CLI, Claude Code, right? So that's a gap, right? That's a gap. That's a digital, that's a physical, that's a gap. That's a hole. How do we fill the hole? We have to create a bridge now. So a lot of times when you're building with Claude.ai, as I told you to do with your foundational files, you set up a dedicated project on Claude.ai, the Claude website. A lot of times when you're building with Claude.ai, you're getting all this information. It's helping you to scaffold and to build and develop your application. But then you got to drop it into Claude Code, and then sometimes things get lost. Sometimes there's a disconnect. And then on top of that, you have to remember, you have to hold the context in your mind about what's going on between those two agents. So that's taxing your mind. You got to context switch. You got to think about things. You got to analyze things. You got to hold data in your mind. But that's not easy all the time, especially if you're new to this game, especially if you're just starting. So that's why I came up with the third agent protocol, or simply put, just called the third agent. But it is a protocol. So basically, I came up with some simple files, nothing mind-blowing, but it's not always obvious to think of these things. It wasn't obvious for me. I had to learn this because I felt the pain of losing context between Claude.ai and Claude Code. And there'll be many times when I'm starting a new session with Claude.ai, and Claude.ai is like, hold on, I don't remember what we did 2 days ago. I don't remember what we did 5 days ago. What if you didn't work on your repo for a month? Do you really expect Claude.ai to remember all that information? No. Claude.ai is not going to remember. It's going to lose context. And you're going to spend hours thinking about, hold on, where did we leave off? What's going on with that bug? Did we finish the design? Are we on version 2, 3, or 15? Did we add those design tokens? What colors did we decide on? What technology stacks did we implement already? There's a lot to hold on to. So you have 3 agents that are constantly thinking about these things and trying to remember, but they're not always reconciling. They're not always on the same page. That's why you need a bridge between Claude.ai, Claude Code, and your own mind. And that's what we're going to get into today, right now. So let's share the screen. Let me set up a screen share. Okay. So here we go. Now let's actually start to build an application. We're not going to build the application. We will in other videos, but we're actually going to just, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you how this third agent protocol works, or the third agent works. So here we are. We are on Claude.ai. Now in Claude.ai, I went to my master agent template. This is my master agent template. As you can see, I have a lot of files in here. I've accumulated a lot of files. Anybody that wants to get started on this higher level, I'm selling the 30 kit file system for you guys for $149. You're going to get 30 foundational files that really supercharges your projects. It goes way beyond the free 7 ones that I'm already giving you, as long as you sign up at Askarione.com. So today we're using my own supercharged version of the AI Starter Kit. And here we go. Let me show you how this thing works. So first you get to your AI Starter Kit, whatever you're calling it. I'm calling my Master Agent Template. And for the purpose of this video, let's just come up with this little fake application called a glucose tracker. So here's how we're going to start off this project. Right now, I already have a prompt that I came up with. This prompt basically is saying I'm starting a new project called Glucose Tracker. It's a small web app that tracks glucose levels throughout the day. I want to host it on Railway. Railway is just a service. It's going to have its own subdomain or its own custom domain. These are all little technical things that we don't have to worry about right now. You probably know exactly what you want to do with your project. I'm not building it today. I'm just setting up the scaffolding, the foundation. And right from the beginning, I'm going to take my several files of my third agent protocol. I'm going to drop it in here. I'm already telling it that I'm going to include those files because I want this protocol to be a part of this. Really, this protocol should be a part of every single thing that you do if you're building like how I'm building. And honestly, 90% of you should be building like how I'm building in terms of if you're just getting started, because I'm just getting started too. And this is helping me out immensely. I'm literally saving hours and hours and hours of time with this protocol. This may not work for a senior engineer. This may not work for a senior systems engineer or someone who's been, coding their entire lives. They may come up with their own custom solutions. But this is my solution. This is how I work, and it's working fabulously for me. So I already have these files. They're on my local desktop, and I'm going to grab them and drop them in. So here we go. Here's my third agent kit, which you guys are going to be able to get for free. I'm just going to grab them, and I'm going to drag them in here. That's all you need to do. You drag them in there. You tell Claude.ai that they're in there, and then you tell Claude.ai that you want to build the scaffolding of your project. And as Claude.ai is going to run through all of your own knowledge data, your knowledge base files, which are your 7 foundational files. Or if you got my more advanced kit, the 30 kit, it's going to have more information to run through to give you better advice. It's up to you. And I'm just going to describe my project, what the project does, the application. It's a glucose tracker. I tell Claude.ai it has those 7 foundational files. I'm sorry, the protocol files for the third mind, which is the bridge. And yes, those 7 foundational files that I've been speaking about for weeks now, yes, that is a part of this master AI template, agent template. It's already in this 30 pack here. And now here we go. We're going to run it. So basically, my kit is setting up my application. As we can see, it's confirming the file list for the glucose tracker. It's setting up the files, foundational files. Okay. Now it's telling me I'm not intentionally including identity, guardrails, metrics, multi-tenancy, brand kit monitoring. These things aren't needed right now because this is a personal application, so it doesn't need all these things. It doesn't need like a design. It doesn't need multi-tenancy, which means that I'm not selling this as a SaaS product. I don't need metrics yet. That's premature. Guardrails aren't necessarily needed because this is just for me, and there's no AI agents being involved in this. And when the application actually runs, it's just a tracking app. So you see, this is the beauty. My AI starter kit is working flawlessly, and so should yours. It's already telling me exactly what needs to be included, what doesn't need to be included. You see right here, it's creating the MD file, the Claude MD file, which is coming up with the entire tech stack here. It's coming up with the entire architecture, the entire schema right here. Beautiful. It's working perfectly. It's coming up with the rules. It's coming up with this setup of the repo. And here it is. Here's my protocol right here, the third agent protocol right here. It has the run book. It has the current state of the project. It has all the documentations, the lessons learned, everything that all 3 minds must always be on track with. Here are the protocols. Everything's getting set up perfectly. Here's the README file. It's even giving me information on how to set up the local repo, the local system, the local architecture on my own computer, my own machine. Everything's set up. It's even telling me how to set this up on a Git repository. Everything perfect. You see? The starter kit is working flawlessly, and it also has the third agent protocol a part of it. Okay. So it basically set up the project. It's still setting up the project, right? So now at the end of this, it's probably going to produce the files that I need. And then these files are going to go onto my local system. And then from there, we build it with Claude Code. And we're not going to do that today. I just wanted to show you the power of this. And I wanted to reiterate how the third agent works. Okay, so we'll let that set up. So while this is setting up, I just want to give you a little recap on how this whole thing works. So basically what you want to do is you want to go to Claude.ai and you want to go to your AI starter kit. You go to your AI starter kit, and if we scroll back up here, we give it your opening command, your opening instructions, which are right here. You tell it what you want to build, and then you also give it these several files right here, these 6 files that I'm going to give you for free. You're going to be able to download it from my Git repository. And these files act as the bridge between all 3 minds, the mind of Claude.ai, the mind of Claude Code, and your mind. This bridges them all together. It constantly comes up, bridges all the decisions that were made between the 3 agents, all the incidences, all the problems that occurred. It keeps them totally up to date. It tracks the delta of everything that's already happened from the last time that you saved or committed your project. It has a run book of all the situations that are ongoing with this particular build. That's the run book, essentially. It has all the lessons that have been learned, as you can see here. And let me actually switch on over so you could see me on this one. It has the current state. This is probably the most important part of the protocol. What is the current state of the project? As you can see right there, it has your Claude MD file. Now, this is just a boilerplate Claude MD file that relates to the protocol, but don't take it too seriously because the true Claude MD file is going to come from the master agent system. It's going to give you the true Claude MD file that you're going to need that's specific to this project. And it has the Claude context pointer, which basically shows how all these things work together. But again, your job as the orchestrator is just to feed these foundational files to your AI starter kit. Right now, in this scenario, I just dropped them in the chat, but you could literally add them to your knowledge base in your AI starter kit. And then as you can see, all those minds created a bridge, and this takes some time. It's going to build out your entire project, and then when your project is done, you're going to download all the files. I recommend download every single file in your root directory. Okay? And what I'm going to do now is, let's assume that this is done, because this is taking a while. So let's just stop it. Let's assume that this is done. Okay. And let's assume that you have all the files. Here you go. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this terminal command of this terminal setup right here. Always ask Claude for a terminal setup to set up your local situation, your local repo. You're going to copy this. And here's the beauty. Right now, you don't even need Claude.ai to set this up. All you got to do is open up a terminal. I'm on a Mac. No, not that. So I'm going to open up a terminal. I already have one open here. I don't need that. This is some work I was doing. And here you go. Here's your terminal. You're going to paste those commands in here, whatever those commands are. It's going to set up your local repo. And then there you go. There you go. Then you build your project. So you're going to have everything set up. The 3 minds are going to be set up. And now let me just add one little thing here. The real superpower is to take all this information and then go to Claude.ai, open up a new tab, create a new project, name the project whatever you want to name it, glucose tracker, You're going to come back here. You're going to ask Claude Code. You're going to say, okay, Claude, hi, I'm opening up a new project, Claude AI project. For the glucose tracker, I need you to send me the instructions for me to copy and paste into the field. And I also want the description for this Claude AI project. I use Super Whisperer to dictate. Don't worry if it's not perfectly dictated here. Claude is very smart. It'll extrapolate. It's going to give you that information. Here you go. You see, it's giving you the project description. Here you go. You copy that. Boom. Create the project. And then here's this is very important right here. You open up your instructions. Here you go. Copy the instructions. You paste the instructions. You save the instructions. And then you also come back here and you ask Claude, you say, hey, okay, and what are the files that I should add to that project to keep everything in alignment between myself, Claude AI, and Claude Code? Please send me the exact files I should add to the knowledge base of that Claude project for the glucose tracker. And then Claude will send you those exact files. Here the files are. You're going to download them, and then you're going to upload them here to files. Upload them, and then this is your mind now. This is the mind. This is the mind, one of the minds now. So whenever you're building this project, you always come back here. You always come back to this project when you're building your application for the glucose tracker. You don't go anywhere else in Claude. Anything else for Claude is for something else. So if you want to look up stock prices, you just open up a new chat here, and it has nothing to do with any single project. You just ask it, what's Apple's stock price today? You put that in there. This is what I call a throwaway chat. It's just a throwaway chat. Who cares? You could delete it. It could just stay there in Claude AI. It doesn't matter because it's not associated with any project. It's just a throwaway chat. You can do 1 million of them. It doesn't matter. Okay? What matters is your projects. So if you come back here and you go to your projects and we look for the glucose tracker, as you can see, I have many projects, dozens of projects. And then here we go. This is the only time you build. And then when you build here, you also have your terminal open, and you also have your, well, let's just say your terminal, but you technically should have your terminal and your Claude CLI open, your Claude Code open as well. But basically, let's just call it your terminal for now. Open up your terminal. That's one agent. Presumably you're using Claude Code for that. Then you have this agent here, which is your Claude AI agent, and then you have this agent here, the most important agent, your mind. And now it's all bridged together. You never have to think about the third agent bridge ever again. It's already set up in your project. It's already part of your knowledge base. And that's it, folks. That's all I wanted to talk about today. How do you bridge all three minds together? There's 3 minds, remember. It's not just about Claude AI. It's not just about Claude Code. It's also about you. How does your mind work? How do you keep context of everything? My protocol, the third agent protocol, bridges the gap. So anytime you start a project and then you stop it, whether that's for a couple hours or a couple days or a couple months, the system will automatically run through the protocol. It'll bring everything up to date. Everything will be up to date. Claude AI will be up to date. Claude Code will be up to date. And then you, in effect, will be up to date too. All the context will be unified, and you won't lose any context anymore. Every single agent will remember now exactly what needs to be done because it's forced to. That's a part of the protocol. It has to remember. Basically, it has to go through the run book, go through the lessons, go through the decisions, all these markdown files that make up the protocol, the third agent protocol. It runs through them every single time, and it brings your project up to date. And then boom, that's when you start your session. That's when you start coding. That's when you start orchestrating. And that's how you do it. All right, folks, my name is Dave. I am from Askarione. I am an AI orchestrator. Please go to Askarione.com. Check out my free AI starter kit, which is the 7 foundational files. If you want to go further, you could actually purchase the 30 files. If you want to go crazy, you could get the 30 files. Let me actually set this up real quick so you can see me. You could get the 30 files. The 30 files is like a supercharged pack where basically you just saw me use my own and it just supercharges you. And that helps you build much more complex systems way further than what the 7 foundational files could do. But at the very least, the 7 foundational files will take you far. And if you're clever, that's all you really need. You know, you'll be like, okay, these 7 foundational files, they're great. And then you'll keep on thinking, and then you'll keep on thinking, and then it may take you a couple weeks. But if you want to skip all that time, it took me 6 months to come up with the 30 files that I came up with. If you want to collapse all that time as an entrepreneur such as myself, then just go ahead and get the 30 pack. I think it's well worth the $149. It's worth a lot more than that. All right, folks. I'll see you at the next one. I try to do these every 2 weeks, but keep on coming back to the website. Who knows? I might drop some articles in between those 2 weeks, and let's keep it going. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Signing out, Dave Mate, drinking my yerba mate. This is from my other website, circleofdrink.com. Salud. See you at the next one.